Dude, when we record, I have to say that when we get to the end, you say, "Hey, one more thing," like Steve Jobs. You go, "We got to talk about backrooms,"
One
and I
more
go,
thing.
and there's a pause, silence, and I go, "What? Bathrooms?" And you go, "No, backrooms."
All right. Well, let's be honest. I'm probably gonna forget, but we'll see. Testing transfusion for all the troglodytes traipsing around the traposphere. This is episode 61 of the Geekwood podcast. And man, are we excited that you have joined us this week. I would say this is a very special episode because we are lit. But aside from that, there's
hey, special.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much,
Senor Jarrad and his lovely
him.
bride, Katie.
Love you, Katie.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we were just talking about the wedding and everything that was 4 years ago and how much fun it was.
Yeah, it was a blast of a wedding. Most weddings should replicate what you guys did. It was, I would say it wasn't too different from what we did for our second wedding.
Leave it there. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but
it was also COVID. Listen, it was a COVID time,
yeah,
folks.
It was a COVID thing. But we're not gonna beleaguer any of this wedding nonsense. We got a lot to talk about this week. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with
why don't we just go from the top down, because a lot of what you have, you'll see then my notes, and there's just a few other details, so then I should be able to pick up the pace on that.
Yeah, but Lego Batman continues to crush.
Oh, you're gonna start from the bottom?
I mean, that literally is the top. Oh
no, it's not.
Oh,
it's
the top of that message. You want to start with the Steam Deck?
No, generative UI for Google search. Oh no, 61 prep. Rocket League. Folks, we write the notes and we're still like.
Oh, you want me to start with what I put in? I thought you were talking about what you put.
No, dude, let's just start from the top, work our way down.
Okay.
So I think, Unreal is going to be an interesting topic.
I'd say we'd edit this out, but you know what?
No,
I
don't think so. No, it's great. I love it so much.
We're just doing it real time. But yeah, Epic has teased Unreal Engine 6, which is pretty exciting. So one of the most popular game engines that is used by people who make games. And we already know that Witcher 4 is going to be built on top of Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal 6 has just been teased by Rocket League, which skipped Unreal Engine 5 and is going straight to 6. And they had a really fun teaser trailer showing off some of the,
it's starting to look like Forza. You're like, isn't it just a bunch of little micro machines hitting a soccer ball?
Yeah, which, it looks pretty, but I don't know if that was really the game to debut UE6, but
you know what? I think you know what? I think was it leaked? It wasn't like a full here it is.
The timing is a little bit peculiar because we are 2 months out from GDC, the Game Developers Conference, which is in March. Like, you think if they really wanted to make a splash, they would have debuted it at GDC. But
hey, man.
Here's the thing. I
Rocket
understand.
League is so excited, dude, and they probably need some more numbers.
Okay, so that is probably part of it. I think a lot of this is probably driven largely by Rocket League. Epic Games in general, they just laid off a ton of people because of the Fortnite kind of problems that they've been having.
Well, and we've talked about that. And they also go through a cycle that they try to keep about, was it like 3,000 to 4,000 people? And once something big happens over about a year or so, they go to about 5 or 6, and then they drop back down to 4 or 3.
Yeah. So I think that was a bit cyclical, and I don't think Epic was really feeling the hype cycle at the moment. So
No, probably
I
not.
understand that they're not in front of announcing UE6, but I imagine we're going to hear a lot more of the next few months, would be my guess. Because there's no way Rocket League announced this without Epic Games' blessing. So maybe this is just like the beginning of the hype cycle, starting to drum up interest, and
Yeah.
I
Because
think that's what it is. Because I think 5.8 for Unreal Engine was just announced or just released, and some cool stuff coming in that. But I,
well, I don't think too. I think you're right. Like we're so close to them and now officially announcing it, like like hey, everybody's heard about the iPhone 4, I guess. So let's just roll with it. So I don't think this is a bad. Matter of fact, it's got them some good positive and not negative, but like questionable buzz, but it's gotten buzz nonetheless for Epic to do an Unreal 6. And the questionable is like, God, we just get 5? And people are just now like there's still a ton of people that are developing in 5 from, 6 years ago, because unfortunately our cycle is that now. Everybody wants to be AAA.
Cyberpunk is in Unreal Engine 4,
Yeah, so
if I'm not mistaken. I could be
Witcher
wrong.
3 is their
No, Witcher 3
own,
was their own home baked engine.
but then the new Witcher
Is
is
on
it gonna
5.
is on 5, unless they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about? We're gonna switch 6." And we were
Uh,
like talking about like the trees and the plants and like,
it's
holy God,
here's the thing. It's so
it's a
early.
little
So
fat. Yeah, it's early too, but also what I'm trying to say is like, didn't we just get 5?
let's walk it back a little bit. The Unreal Engine cycles have largely followed the console cycles, if you think about it. So Unreal Engine 5 kind of pseudo debuted around the time the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S, X, Special Plus Plus, whatever the heck it's called. So and then Unreal Engine 4 was with the PS4 and with the Xbox X. What the heck was it called?
Series.
Xbox One, Xbox Series. But
Oh no,
anyway,
one was yes. You're talking 4 and then series. Well, thanks Microsoft. Yeah, one was Unreal 4, and
anyway,
then
that's we're not here to talk about the Xbox. We're here to talk about Unreal Engine, and really they have been following the console generations, which I think is very, very smart for them because they're
it's
like,
good. But I think my point is the developers have been, and I'm not going to say lagging behind, but like it's taking more time and more time and more time. That
so I would agree, and I think that has been the main point where developers have really struggled is that you have these new engines with these new consoles and this new hardware and everything is just oh it's and then you turn the ignition key and it doesn't do anything.
and I think was 4 to 5 was the biggest change that Epic had done in a very
Oh,
long time.
it was absolutely huge. Like
And then,
they introduced Lumen and Nanite and all sorts of things.
and it sounds
And
like 6 already. I don't even know how, because I'm not in that background. But like, it sounds like 6 is closer to 5. It's more like a strong, but it's not like a 4 to 5. It's a nice, smoother than 4 to 5 transition to this new one.
well, I think part of it is the ramp up in the architecture of the consumer hardware is not accelerating as fast as it has in previous generations because everything is being soaked up by data centers at this point, and Nvidia is not rushing to market with like an RTX 6000 series anytime soon. At least I don't
No,
think they
we're
are.
still talking about the 1590. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. So I think there's a slower adoption to consumer grade hardware, and I think that kind of trickles down to a smaller increase in the major feature upgrades that happen in UE6 versus UE5. That being said, we don't know anything about Unreal Engine 6.
But it's
But
so exciting to talk about.
yeah, we're pumped. And I can't remember. I think it was a year ago. I joked that my demo reel that landed me my first job at id Software way back in 2008 was on Unreal Engine 3. And then I completely skipped Unreal Engine 4 and I started working in Unreal Engine 5. And I may end up skipping UE5 and just for the indie game I'm working on, just go to UE6.
Yeah, yeah. Is there like, when we get like an update for an iOS or whatever, like if you have 5, is it like you got to dump it and then put a whole new engine on there? Or the way that, people are talking, 5 to 6 is going to be not incremental, but like it's not going to be, like I said previously multiple times, it's not going to be a 4 to 5. Does it upgrade? Does it change? Like, how does that work?
So
is it like any other normal software, I guess, that I deal with?
So when you think of software, it is very much they follow a strict typing when it comes to their versioning. So the major versioning, like UE5 to UE6, that is the major version. And that indicates a breaking change. So what was working in UE5, good chance it won't work straight out of the box in UE6. And that there's going to be a lot of changes or a lot of updates or a lot of reconfiguring to get it to work. That is the indicator of a major breaking change. So when you do the minor updates, go from UE 5.6 to 5.7, mostly things should just keep on working aside from whatever minor fixes. But when we talk about 5 to 6, we're talking about major structural changes in the underlying engine and things that may require you to make months and months and months of updates to make it work again. So
long story short, yes.
Yeah, it is not the same as updating from iOS 26 to 27. I can tell you that right now. So if you are a game developer who is on the verge of releasing on Unreal Engine 5, you are not going to be updating to UE6.
No,
not a chance in hell.
Here's interesting. So like Bungie, Microsoft is using Unreal 5 to re-release the Halo Master Chief collection. They're using Unreal 5. The Pokemon Company and Nintendo have adopted some of the studios, but that is, especially those two, that's Nintendo and Pokemon Company. They've also adopted Unreal 5, which has been, if you know anything about them, they, like Capcom or Konami, they use normally their own engines, and they've adopted Unreal 5 as well, for like Pokopia. Don't quote me on this last one.
Is it
but
Pokopia or Pokopia?
Whichever way you want to say it, babe. Bonanza too. Might have been. I don't know if they use 2 engines because that's crazy. But like, Nintendo's adopted Unreal in that, and it's been Unreal 5. So it's interesting that we just got a lot of that stuff, and they're like, "Whoa, what?" But with what you're saying, Epic has been like, okay, a new generation is about to come out. So then here is going to be our new generation for engines. With what I'm saying is everybody taking a minimum 5 years, which I wish, but it's taking, I'm going to talk about Mina and the Hollower. Like that took 6 years for that retro amazing game. I can't wait. Woo-hoo. Took them 6 years to develop that. So we're looking at like, it's not like back in the day where it was like 2 to 4, maybe 5 years for a new game to come out or the next IP within that, title to come out. these are all like 10-year games. Like,
well, you look at GTA 6 and the development cycle around that. Holy moly. Like, that is a
15.
I mean, it's at least a decade. I don't know if we're at the 15-year mark, but it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Side note, and we can talk about this later if we want to, or in another episode, just its own topic. But like, generations of kids and people are only getting that one game, and then it's the next generation that sees the next game. Is that crazy, Eric?
I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like
10 years?
the
So
age
like
of,
you were
well, I
you were
mean,
10 and you'd be 20 and then you're 30. That's
yeah, but
crazy.
here's the thing: we're in our 40s. We didn't stop playing games. I mean, like, yeah, there's like the first generation of a gamer is in that 10 to 15 year
10.
age.
But like, okay. Yeah, 10 to 15, sure. But like, you and I played PlayStation, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, um, Sega Genesis. And how old were we? We were before that. Like, if anything, some of our most nostalgic moments were like when we were like, and 8 is not that far away from 10, but like that 8-year range, that's pretty cool, man. Where I'm now seeing, at least my niece, she's 14, 15, and now she's getting into it. And I'm like, dude, you missed like, there could have been like 7 to 8 years of your life that we
Yeah,
could have
but I
been.
mean, here's the thing: like, when you get into it, you still have the entire catalog. Like, the
We do
games,
now.
they're not going
That is,
anywhere.
that is special. We have a lot of backward. We've, online subscriptions,
And a lot of it is so gosh, like,
emulation.
it's accessible, which is not something I would say for film. If you think about it, like movies, like if you want to go back and watch, I mean, yeah, some of the greats, you can watch some Stanley Kubrick, but a lot of the other movies from that generation of that era, like, they do not hold up well. And yeah, some of the games from that era are long in the tooth, but the quality of the game still, they like the game system, I feel like shines through, and even like the 8-bit stuff, like it still holds up. Like, there's still, you should still appreciate it for what it is. And I feel like that is not something that holds true for film from that era.
That's true. That's a good call. There was this was maybe 3 months ago. TMNT, the first movie, cheesy as it was, but Jim Henson spent a ton of money. They spent a ton of money on the mechanical and the suits and everything. And they brought out, oh God, I don't want to say it's a 40th anniversary because that'd make me feel really old. But maybe a 30th. And they up-resed it 4K. It's beautiful and gorgeous, but you can only get that on physical disc. And so I looked online, like, oh, could I get like a upgraded copy? I would buy it again, 4K, and no. So you are right that even in movies, like, it doesn't happen as often in games. And we talked about, when we were in college back in, 10 and 12, 2010 and 12, about preservation. And there was a big push across the world of preservation. And at first, emulation was frowned upon. But at this point in time, emulation has even helped some of the companies like Nintendo and Microsoft to be like, oh, you know what? Those are viable needs. And then they're using those and implementing those. So you are right.
Yeah. So I think there's a long tail of games that are going to be available, and I sure as hell plan on kind of introducing some of it to my kids. But in terms of a long tail of games that are still alive and kicking, Witcher 3, which is one of the best games ever made, just had a new expansion announced for 2027.
Crazy. Is that like 10 years old, 12 years old?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it so much, dude. And the rumor right now, is like, well, we know Witcher 4. So is this expansion going to be, which I've never heard of a company doing this, and I think it's the most brilliant thing ever. If this is true, this segues to Witcher 4. And I was like,
okay. Yeah, I mean, there's probably, well, no, okay. I'm going to cut you off right there. So the expansion
well,
is
at the
titled
end,
Songs of the Past. So,
but we remember the game, and he retires. Like it's his swan song. He retires. It's not the bathtub scene, and because that's in the beginning. But basically, like if anybody does a meme on Geralt, it's him sitting naked in a bathtub, and he's like, "What up?" He's like the James Bond of like that era. He's like, "Hey, what's up, girl?"
he's the James Bond of fantasy characters.
Yeah, yeah. Hint, hint. By the way. Uh, if this, dude, I love the what ifs. This could be. It would be perfect. Wouldn't it be perfect?
They might. I mean, they'd be stupid not to do some teases and some lead-ins to Witcher 4. But
I don't know if it's stupid, but it'd be really
here's
smart.
the reason I think they did this. They look at the monthly player numbers for Witcher 3, and it's still going so strong. And you don't need a lot to like once you have a system that is working, you have all the bugs figured out, like all you need are some designers and some artists and maybe a few engineers, and you can put out a new expansion, and you know what your player base is, like that is a safe investment. So like from a business standpoint, putting out a new expansion for a game that is a decade old, but will, like, the return on investment will be, I don't know, 5x.
Well, and the point
it's
the
a no-brainer.
Expansions originally were to bring people back, and if you didn't have the game, you now want to buy the game. So then they have a little uptick in sales of that game.
Yeah, it's just it's you're perpetuating the cycle, and it feeds the media hype for Witcher 4,
which like, it totally did.
Yeah. So
and you've got, CD has got a new engine, and we talked about it. Even now, going to Unreal, which originally they had their own, but they still have their old engine, which is their own Frostbite, I think, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, but no, man, I'm getting all the engines confused. Let's just not even talk about engines.
But you still have it on computers. You still have it saved. Like, why would you ever delete that? Ever, never. And so, yeah, you still have staff that have been there, like 10, 15 years, whatever, or new staff who learned on that code and that engine. So,
well, I mean, you probably have people who migrated off, yes, but there's still that institutional knowledge that you can tap on if there is a bug. Be like, oh, Boris worked on that code base 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure he knows what's happening.
Boris.
They're in the previous Soviet Union.
No, okay. I dig it. I love it. Yeah, I think this is great. We've never heard of anything like this long in the tail. We've never heard it, and nobody's looking at it like this. Yeah, it's not like it's long in the tooth, like it's old and grizzled. And it's like, why would you do that? Everybody is extremely excited, just like us, that this is even happening.
I mean, I've played The Witcher 3 to death, and as soon as this drops, I am absolutely buying it, and I will binge the shit out of it.
Yeah, people are already like dropping Call of Duty off their SSDs, and they're already downloading Witcher 3 because it's huge. It's not a small game.
No, because there's a ton of the world is so massive. It is the preeminent open world single player RPG of our generation, and I don't know what game will match it, because I mean, maybe Witcher 4, because there hasn't been anything since that has really matched it. I mean, I think Starfield tried to, but
They tried to.
I don't think there's as much content in Starfield as there is in Witcher 3,
No, I don't think so either.
even though there's multiple planets. So I think that's I
It's
it,
exciting.
it's exciting, but this makes me my gears are turning thinking about the future, and I think where gaming is headed, like procedural
Oh.
content. Uh, I think procedural content is absolutely the future because if you want a world like Witcher 3 to live and breathe forever and to have unlimited number of quests and experiences, like it's all going to have to be procedural, and it's all going to rely on artificial intelligence, mostly
Ugh.
LLMs, maybe not LLMs, but other types of models. And I don't know, I'm
It's a tricky slope because
it
there
is
are
very,
certain
very tricky.
things I'm going to talk about later that is becoming that reality we feared of, and what the new companies, well, not new, but new, just yeah, it's not going to be great. So in that regard, like I agree with you, as long as again, like they walk a very fine wire of like what is artificially and then what is, you and I that are making this stuff actually in our heads and outputting. So, I mean, in that case, it could be a live service, it's just, that's another version of live service. If it's a live service game, yeah, I could see more procedural and AI and stuff like that.
Oh, it
Um,
absolutely would be a live service. Like, there's no way you'd be able to fund it if it wasn't. Because I mean, it costs money to make all the LLMs go. Here is your quest, sir. I mean, that's how that would work. I think. But let's put that on hold because I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming in the next couple months from the big AI labs that might kind of paint the picture of where we're headed. So let's focus on what we have in the near term. And, you know, there's been three new games recently that have gotten really good reviews.
really good.
And I'm going to jump on 007 First Light because, man, I was hesitant about this one, but it's gotten just amazing reviews. It says the James Bond swagger is right there in full effect. And hit me with it. What's your take?
From the reviews that I've watched and read, think of Hitman World of Absolution, which is the 3 games. We just now title it as those 3 because also IO just puts them all out as just one game now, which I think is cool, by the way, because we waited all those years. And now it's just one big world and story that you go through. And then think of things like Uncharted, which is more that like that climbing, that action, and probably that Uncharted also has that swagger of like, which comes from Indiana Jones and probably from James Bond. And IO put this beautiful little, like, it is Hitman. It's got the framework of a Hitman, but it's not as much like doing a costume change and even sometimes not a face change, but like, I mean, sometimes it was kind of crazy how much you could do. But that you have so much freedom and then still having that like that action of all the movies. That's what it was. All the action and um the swagger, as you said, and that like that sexiness that, the original author had, which was his character and like his friends back in the war, during England and World War II, I believe. So man, they really nailed it. They really, really nailed this mechanisms, these mechanisms, the character, and not doing like, I think the last video games have been based around like more recent characters like Brosnan or Craig, and creating something that is a young James Bond, giving homages here and there. There's a scar across his face later. I didn't realize, if you read the books, which are really good books, and I need to read them, the original James Bond character has a scar on his, I think, right cheekbone, across his little cheek from, one of his early, adventures. And they even gave homage to that totally unique soundtrack, a totally like very famous, like, every James Bond has some famous, artist who does the song. Man, I've never seen any James Bond nail it in the way that IO did. And it's very reminiscent to Indiana Jones, where like the passion, the dedication, the commitment to creating something that I think we talked about with Circle of Destiny. This flows so well that it could be its own movie within the universe, but like it's its own storyline. It's
So talk to me about the storyline, because I heard it's like is it an origin story for 007, or like how does it position itself within the kind of like the lore?
Yeah, it's very much like an origin story. So he is young, he's a young 007. And so I think even like, don't get angry about this, but like the first couple of hours are you training. So I think it's about average right now for like this style of game is about 25 to 30 hours. And this is, depending on how fast or what you skip, this is 20 to a 30-hour game. And the first 2 hours are you going through missions, but it's you training, in learning what to do with the mechanisms, and then it sends you forth. Some people might be upset with that if you're more of like a Nintendo fan, or maybe like some of the PlayStation games where, the tutorial's only like 5-10 minutes and then they set you in. There's a lot going on in this game. If you've ever played Hitman, World of Assassination, there's a lot going on in that game. I was overwhelmed when I got the iPad and iOS version, because it does kind of just drop you in, and it's like, okay, and then we'll walk you through, but you're in a real mission, kind of. You're not. It's a fake boat, but it really feels it really like pulls me back, and I go, oh God, I don't want to mess this up before you go to a real mission. So I think they learned from that too over, 15 years or whatever. And but once it gets going, he's learning, he's growing, it's a whole new queue, it's a whole new so you don't need to know any of the, authored characters, you don't need to know any of the movie characters. This is their own world, but their own world fits perfectly with all the other content and in universe that other people over God since 19, 45 and 50, which is crazy, have created.
It's one of the most successful long running IPs that we've had. And I'm excited for Amazon and MGM to effectively reboot it in the cinema space as well.
Yeah, I think this will maybe help them. That was one of the things when I watched reviews, and I was like, gosh, like right now 007 has a 9 out of 10, um, which is now contender for Game of the Year. Um, and, their storyline, their story arc, the way that they portrayed the characters, the mocap that they did, I'm hoping that, this is popular. People are buying it. This is one of those games that I told folks way back when we started this podcast that I was primarily going to do Nintendo. And I said primarily, thank God. This is absolutely one of the games I want to buy. Indiana Jones is one of the games I want to buy. Um, and we'll talk about Mina the Hollower later. That's another game I absolutely want to buy. And I'll say it right now, this first half of 2026 has been bonkers for titles. If you're looking explicitly for like PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo, yes and no. But for third party Resident Evil, my God, like this has been such a killer year that I don't remember in many years, since like what, 2014 maybe? Like this is crazy good. And now we're talking IPs. Lego Batman we'll talk about briefly later. Like wowzers, dude.
Wowzers, you hear that?
So good. Don't make fun of me as yet. It's so good. I hope Amazon takes some notes from this, and they and they create something. I know Amazon's doing Baldur's Gate. So we're seeing crazy IP, and it could be totally live action in a whole new way that we haven't seen since, I don't know, Mario and maybe Uncharted.
You're talking about Baldur's Gate. Are they part of Wizards of the Coast? Is that because Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, which have said they're going to stop publishing all of their books and put them under a monthly service subscription paywall.
They're going to start doing what we talked about earlier. They're going to start doing live service. So D&D Beyond, which is very popular and it's extremely handy. If you have a laptop, it doesn't really work that well with iPads, but it works really well with laptops, MacBooks, and stuff like that.
So
And
let me ask a clarifying question. Like,
yeah,
this isn't all their books. This is simply just the D&D stuff.
Well, all their books are D&D stuff.
Well, no, I think they have a lot of fiction properties outside of Dungeons. I'm sorry, I was asking specifically about the D&D rule books and the campaign books and all of that. Or you're talking about, because like that's like that much. I'm
No,
showing
it
about
is
2 inches versus 27 inches of the entire Wizards of the Coast property.
Yep.
It's
It's the
it's all of
whole
it.
it's the whole kit and
The whole kit and
caboodles.
caboodle.
So Rising Sun, Ravenloft, the Player's
Okay.
Handbook, the Monster Manual, the appendiums, everything. If you going into the future, if you wish to continue playing D&D like, we've known since we were kids and before we were kids, 1980s, 1970s, they're going to start moving everything to D&D Beyond. And maps, grid patterns, what you've saved, how much money your character has, your character creation sheet, all that will move to D&D Beyond. And they will continue doing books, but the books will be like collector's editions, which will supposedly and allegedly be 3 times the normal price of a normal book, which those books are already like 50, $60. And then online, aftermarket, if you're getting older ones, are like $300 to $400 because they're out of print. And if you do not, you stop subscription, of your live service, all that will not be saved. It will go away. So if you had a campaign and you decided to go to D&D Beyond, moving forward, and it's going to trickle and it's going to move in, but it already started. you'll lose any progress, saves, anything. And so we talked about, AI, and we talked about procedural. Is one of those times where I never thought of, like, it never put me really home until D&D, where it's like you've always pad, paper, the books we've done online, PDFs. That was the original. Now D&D or Beyond. But had a pad of paper, you had your dice. You can do electronic and whatever on your phone. But it could always be saved. It could always be moved to a new party, a new players. You could, also D&D is long and extensive, and part of the also good freedom is that you could play a game and you could play with them online. That's part of Beyond. And then you get together that once a year and then play together. Or you only play that one time, and that's also enjoyable. And Hasbro is looking more at that electronic and I guess that subscription and live model. I mean, I guess it makes sense to some degree, where it's like you buy a book, you could still play, edition 1 of D&D. I know friends who, own it. I don't know
I'm
if they play, first edition, but you could play by those rules, because the book is always going to be with you. Or find it online and find the PDF. This is a bit more, I was gonna say dramatic, but I'm just gonna say different. But I'm not personally a fan of this. This really puts it under a paywall. And I really hate the other fact. Well, WoW, if I go back into WoW, all of my characters are there. Yeah, they're 5, 10 years old, but they're there. And then WoW even has a way that you can quickly level them up. But there's
okay,
not
okay,
that
okay.
aspect.
But your characters are locked into World of Warcraft. Like you can't. There's no way you can export them. They're locked in there. I see what they're doing at Wizards of the Coast, and I'm wondering if this might not accelerate, uh, kind of like the open source
That was the other part, is that,
activities, like Open Dungeon and other things.
oh,
Why would I want to double like yeah, the ecosystem right now is super rich around everything that Wizards of the Coast has, but all of that can be I hate to say it, easily pirated. I'm not endorsing that move, but if you want to get your characters out of their ecosystem and you want to get the campaigns, people are creating really good campaigns. And also, as a campaign creator, why would I want to sell into Wizards of the Coast and their new model when the ROI for myself is going to be really limited? As an individual creator, tacking on to an open system, I think has to be the way to go. If I want to make money as a creator. So I feel like Wizards of the Coast might be a dying business, and I say that right now when their profits are booming, and
they are.
yeah,
Magic the Gathering hit their biggest in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, but they're absolutely maximizing their revenue at the moment, but I don't think they're looking out for long-term value for shareholders.
Hasbro,
And that's why they're being sued right now, because they feel like the brand has sold out.
And that's Hasbro, not Wizards of the Coast. So Wizards of the Coast is...
it is Wizard.
No, it is
Magic
Hasbro.
the Gathering doing all these crossovers.
So Wizards of the Coast, who bought Hasbro, is going up against the company that bought them, being like, this is not right. They're laying off artists using AI. There was a scandal within Magic the Gathering that there was a art asset from an artist, and they repurposed that artist's rendering through AI. Hasbro has not, there was an agreement and whatever, but like Hasbro hasn't like openly said like, yeah, we totally messed up. But the articles have shown like they did, and this was during a Lord of the Rings. Because also Hasbro has been very much about a crossover IP, like TMNT, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park. They've been adding all of these other IPs because it makes them more money. Kind of muddying the waters of what the Magic the Gathering lore was, but also it's fun for other people. It's fun for me, and it's it's a revenue builder. And one of their art assets was an AI generated from the Ring and Lord of the Rings. So yeah, Hasbro has not been the greatest, and I don't know, it just came out of nowhere, but it is during this interesting time of like COVID and AI that all of a sudden there's this dramatic crazy shift. And Hasbro bought Wizards, like, again, we keep talking 10-15 years, which is funny, but I think they bought them like 10-15 years ago. But new management or new things that are going on last 2 years are looking really like, I mean, I'm just, as a video gamer, a board gamer, a natural person of like developing and artistry, like it's really icky. Just
It's
straight up.
weird because the the natural tendencies of kind of like creative folk, whether you're making video games, board games, card games, is inherently different. Like your goals are not aligned 100% with the industries that provide you with money, with the capital that you need to do your art. And so it kind of creates this weird alignment. And so when these industries and companies fuse, there's some messy takeovers, and sometimes they just get squashed, and they no longer produce the quality product that they were known for. And I hope that doesn't happen, but
I hope
we'll
not either,
see.
because I think their last everybody liked the fourth edition. They really did a lot of cool rule sets. Were also even open minded to binary LGBTQ, like a huge vast, like making it more open even to new culture and new generations. And fifth edition has been pretty much well received, um, as far as rule sets and changes. And so everybody was very much like on the up and up with D&D. They had left D&D during, I think it was the second or third edition, and Paizo created Pathfinder, which used used the D&D base, like the foundational. And we've talked about this a long time ago. A board game is not a patent. It's not patent pending, which I think you alluded to too, which I'll get back to, of maybe why they're doing this. So the idea is not a patent pending thing. Somebody else can take that idea as long as you spin it towards something else. And so Paizo, who is immensely popular, um, did that. And when they shifted, I think third edition was not well received at all. Paizo took second and third edition and made Pathfinder, which everybody left D&D and went to Pathfinder, fantasy game. And then, Paizo made then a sci-fi in Arkham and because different realms and different whatever, like a Rising Sun barbarian thing, and Ravenloft like Dracula, and so on and so forth. Um, And then 4th edition came out, and it really like they learned that they saw what Paizo was doing and in other independents. I mean, you can create your own RPG. You've got D6 or D12s or whatever. You've got an imagination and a storyline, and you can create a structure.
Yeah.
You can create an RPG, which is open. I think it's called Open Gaming something. Can't remember the last word. Um, so Wizards, not Hasbro, Wizards created a much more open and a much more friendly, kind of going back a little bit. Maybe they made it too complicated, they made it too convoluted, and they simplified it to almost like starting from 1, looking at 3, and then bringing it back down to something in between with a lot more open culture and ever. But with Hasbro laying off artists and writers and then taking over in this realm, and then we have AI, and we just had an update and beyond where there's a bunch of new character classes and things you can add. You can do different maps and whatever, but now it's starting to be under, are you paying the $15 a month? And that's nobody. You've got so many RPGs, like I can't.
I have a prediction.
And there's so many. There are 20 different individual, independent RPG writers in Indianapolis who are creating and have been creating their own RPG systems that are not well known, but within board gaming and even video game space, like extremely popular. And come Gen Con, when I go there in late July, like they're there and they have $15,000 booths because they have to pay that much money to Gen Con, unfortunately. And they're sold out. So D&D, Hasbro does this. It's not going to kill RPGs, but it will kill D&D. And somebody else will just
I don't think it'll kill D&D. And we need to wrap this up because I have a kid waking up, and we'll do another episode very quickly after this. But I think there might be something stirring in the underbelly of the industry, and I don't think people are going to. You can have two groups of people who are satisfied with the AI slop that is generated by the massive corporations, and then you're going to have another group of people who agitate towards creators who put out new and interesting design systems. And I think that's the two paradigms that we're going to see, like people who like just want to continue doing the same old, and that it keeps getting generated, and then all the new stuff. I think there's a really strong market for that new stuff, and I think that's going to thrive, because that's going to exist on social media. Like, there's no way that the mega brands can. I mean, yeah, I guess they can pay their way out and hire influencers and whatnot, but I just think that in this particular market, the new innovative systems, the innovative creators, the small people, not small people, but the people who have new ideas and want to bring them to market, like, they're going to win, and they're the ones I want to support, and there's the ones I'm cheering on, and they're the ones I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think that's cool with what you said, and I agree with it. Because I think you're gonna see a bigger divide, and you're gonna see, hopefully, even the tech companies see that, where like you see more people who want more unique, individual, creative efforts that are coming out of them from their own hands, their own mouths, ears, and minds. I think what's upsetting is, which is why I brought up, is that D&D was that and has been that since the 1970s, which has also made it very niche. So I understand Hasbro's, push to this, and then with AI, it really makes it plausible. You can create text and create art, and then you have online capabilities, and then you have what, Blizzard and Microsoft's been doing, like, in other companies of online service things. They've seen the profitability from beyond, and it all just, it's like a snowball, and it goes down that mountain and it gets bigger and bigger, and that's just throughout the years. So yeah, I do think we might see, and I say might, but I think I agree with you. I think we will see a artistic revolution.
Renaissance.
I think a revolution. I think like a
Okay.
French.
Revolution.
Yeah.
The only hurdle I see is the distribution. Like it requires people to get in front of the camera, to get on Instagram and TikTok and X. And I know, like myself, I struggle with that as being a creator because I don't like being on social media. And here I am making a podcast. But like it like if all your brain cells are poured into making this thing, and then you have to spend twice as many brain cells promoting it, like it is really tough. And that's where I feel for creators. It's like you got to get your stuff out there, and that's arguably more important than creating the thing itself. And
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why, like,
it sucks.
I'm good at social media. Or at least I was back in the day, but I chose to get off of it because of tech and the doom scroll, and now even the AI. But like, am I going to get myself known and then seen? Probably not. But do I still like this media, this podcast? And then, one day I'm going to move back to Colorado. I'm going to do a bunch of YouTube videos and not push them onto social media. And if people find me, they find me. But it'll be my own creative endeavor. There's a lot of artists throughout the years, Eric, that, like, I mean, good Lord, you look at Van Gogh. The man was not well known until he died. Do I want to be that person? No, but like,
God, I hope not. He cut off his own ear.
Well, that's also true.
No, that was Monet. Sorry,
it was Monet. But there's still that similarity of like, and I think more people are going to, and also, we talk about work-life balance, and God, even like high schoolers are starting to know work-life balance before they're even into work.
Wait, what?
So,
no, sorry, I don't want to hear anything about that nonsense. Today's high schoolers can go shove it. That's my nice way of saying it.
Love you, kids. So, well, yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot harder.
Yeah,
but I think
things are gonna change.
We'll find new channels. We'll find new avenues.
Yeah, I think we're going to have new social networks in the next couple of years, new ways of finding content, new ways of doing everything. I think life is radically going to change in the next half a decade. And, we're going to be here to cover it and tell you all about it. And subscribe, do all the things, because I'm Eric, and this is my bestie
Jarrad,
and we are Geekoid. And we're gonna hit you with another episode really quickly after this one, because we gotta cut this one short because family be having a meltdown.
Babies.
Hey
everybody, geek out,
and Geekoid.
End of transmission.